Hey y'all, it's Fang Pipsqueak Reads, and I think I'm back from my hiatus. Think I'm confident enough and I feel a lot better. Haven't recovered completely from my burnout, but I've recovered enough that I actually find joy in writing again, and I find joy in reading a lot of the books that I have. So that's a good step. And I managed to read one short story collection just in time for his debut, just in time for his release day. And I wanted to do a review of it as well. Unfortunately, I only got like a digital ARC, like advanced reader copy. So I don't have the physical book here with me, but hopefully I can order it next year so I can show it. But you probably saw the beginning a little bit at the beginning of the video. So the debut collection is called Hunger for Death, and it's by Joshua Marsella. I hope I got your name pronounced correctly. If not, I'm sorry. But yeah, I've read Joshua's novellas before. They were Scratched, and then the prequel novella Severed, and I really enjoyed those. They were a lot of fun, and it was really creepy. He really managed to build up suspense right up till the reveal, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck's happening? And so I was excited when I asked Joshua if it was okay if I got an ARC review, and I would read it in exchange for an honest review. And of course I got it. Yay! And what I really like about his debut collection, it is horror stories, something that I love, of course. It's his variety. He has the stories that he has. There are 13 stories in it, and there are a lot of variety in those stories. None of the stories are the same. It doesn't contain, the classic monsters, vampires, zombies, werewolves. Nothing like that. Which was, pleasantly surprising. You usually see a couple of those classic monsters in some, horror collections. And I enjoy them. But at the same time, I was really happy that they didn't have in this collection. So yeah, I would say that his strength in this collection is the variety. It has a lot of stories about basically just normal people thrown into these horrifying situations, which I love about horror. This is what I love about horror. You get to witness these usually normal people, and they are just slung into, or just yeeted into this situation that is incomprehensible and horrifying for them. And that's basically what I love. There were, like I said, there were 13 stories. I did enjoy them. They were a fast read. I think I managed to finish the whole collection within a day, if I remember correctly. I think I spent a whole Saturday in reading them, which was nice. It's snowing and it's starting to get darker, so it's nice to curl up with a book and just read when there's no obligation at all. There are some stories that I found stood out to me the best, in my opinion. One is called Comatose. It's a hilarious name. And I didn't, just from the title itself, I didn't know what to expect from it. And it's basically a story of a guy who's working at a funeral home, and he is bitching and moaning about his partner who is not doing his work. But at the same time, we also get the present tense monologue, or a description of something else, in the room, in the funeral home with the guy. and the twist was really good, and the ending was both hilarious. I actually, yeah, I did chuckle at the end because that's just how morbidly depraved I am. But it's also really horrifying. So I enjoyed the twist, the twist ending, and also just how it was written into, incorporate so something else was in the room, and I really liked how he managed to write that into the story. The second story that I liked is called Polybus. I think it's pronounced like that. It's like a small town, I think somewhere in Massachusetts or in Maine. Not really sure. It's just a quiet, sleepy town. And it's about this guy who just really loves puzzles. And he's just, especially jigsaw puzzles, he just would spend all of his time just doing those puzzles. And I'm not a puzzle person. I don't have the patience for it. So I was just like, damn, dude, you got mad props for that. I don't have the patience for this. So, just sitting there and doing these puzzles, it just went beyond me. And so in the story, he receives this kind of weird puzzle that's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen these Muskie puzzles, where you have to, put the puzzle together to see the outcome of what is happening. It's kind of a situation like that, what the guy got. And because he has this huge obsession with puzzles, no matter what was happening around him, he just had to finish the puzzle. And of course, it was met with horrifying outcome. And it has this kind of Lovecraftian influence, especially with the descriptions of the monsters. The monsters were like really scary in regards to how they were described. And I can really picture them like vividly in my mind. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would love to see that in a film, like as a special effects made. And of course, being a Lovecraftian influence story, the outcome is like I said, horrifying. I'm not going to spoil anything else in regards to that. What else did I like? I like the Blue Cliffs as well. There's a content warning regarding that. It has to do with suicide or suicidal tendencies, and it's not that much of it's not a horror story per se, but reading about this guy's mental attitude in regards to what he was planning to do, it felt horrifying to me because suicide in general is just an awful thing, and it is triggering to a lot of people, especially me. So wasn't expecting that, but when you started reading it, you kind of knew immediately what was going to happen, and you kind of had this dread in your stomach. You're like, shit, I'm gonna witness something like that. I don't want to do that. But it has a happy ending, and I was really happy about that. I was happy that Joshua decided not to do it like that, and in the end, he included, of course, also like ask for help if you're feeling something like this, and he added like the hotline and everything, and I really appreciated that. I was like, really good job. What else did I like? My memory is kind of fuzzy. Oh yeah, the last was it the last story? Yeah, the last story, Sacrifice. I really like that one. It's about this woman. She's pregnant. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic story. Happens after like the bombs went off, and she managed to get hunker down in a bunker or like in a cellar in her home. And at the time, she didn't know that she was pregnant. So 8 months later, she crawls out of the bunker or the cellar, and she's like really showing. And she's trying to find some place, that's safe, not covered in destruction or anything. And she's just, wants to find the best place for her unborn child. And of course, she's just by herself, and she's just wearing slippers, and she's just walking through the terrain, and it's just, oh, I felt so bad for her. I just felt the pain in her feet, because swollen feet, plus just wearing slippers, and like the weather and everything was just horrible. Oh, it sounds so bad. And she's by herself, but she's kind of trying to cope with the fact of what's happening, and she has like this stuffed plushie with her that she talks to, and it kind of talks back to her, but it's really her that's doing it, kind of coping with what is happening. I mean, if this was happening to me, I probably would do the same. And she as a mother, she kind of feels like it's her job to protect her baby, like especially even though it's unborn, and she is willing to do whatever it takes. And that's really apparent in one scene of the story, and that made my stomach churn. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what happens, but it was horrifying. It was just, yeah, it was drawn out, and it just felt, it made me like, maybe taste the bile in my mouth after this. I was like, no, not good. And the ending is I wouldn't say happy. It's more like a bittersweet ending. But I feel like this, like, but also kind of like a realistic ending. I mean, I would definitely think this was something that would happen. So yeah, it was a really good job. Of course, the other stories were really good, but these are the ones that stood out to me the most, and actually the ones that I remember. But there are other stories about, there's a ghost story there, and there's a witch story actually. And oh yeah, I forgot, because it's December, and in this collection there was a Christmas story, and it's called A Trailer Park Christmas. And I love that one. I know that a lot of people, want to connect the festivities, to be jolly and everything in December, but I love Christmas horror. I just love it. It's so fun. Because of course you grow up with these kind of stories, in America, the Santa Claus and the reindeer and, Happy Snowman and stuff. But that's why it's so fun to read about dark Christmas stories. And Joshua actually managed to create a really, I don't know if it's original, but this Christmas story, or like the bad person in this Christmas story, was really, really good. It was like the antithesis of Santa Claus. Basically, it was he created that it was supposed to be his twin brother, and he kind of deals out punishments for the naughty. And I really loved that. And it was kind of also reminiscent of Gremlins, in my opinion. Like, when I was reading it, I just felt like I was reading like a trailer park version of the Gremlins. And I'm like, I love it. It was so fun. The little critters just skittering around, giggling, and, being all ominous. And you're like, am I supposed to be scared of you? And at the same time, he just comes running at you with a knife. And you're like, okay, shit, fuck, I'm gonna be scared of you. The ending there was also really good. The reveal of the bad person was also really good, because at the beginning you're like, why is he being attacked? Like, what the fuck? And then you get the reveal, and you're like, oh yeah, it's because he's a piece of shit. So it was also really good. I really recommend that one. All in all, it was a really good short story collection. I gave it on Goodreads 4 out of 5 stars. In actuality, I would say it leans more to like 3.5 to 4 stars in what I would consider. The only thing that I couldn't give it a 4 stars mainly was because most of the stories were written in a very passive voice, like in a really passive writing. It was not so. For me, that's just my opinion. It's just what happened to me when I was reading it. I didn't feel like I got as immersed into the stories that I would have liked He could have been, he would have been able to build up a lot more suspense if he had, gotten a little bit more active in his writing instead of being passive. I think that's just my opinion, of course. Not to say that the stories were boring or anything like that. They were good. It's just, if he had cranked it up a notch with the active writing, I think, and the active verbs and everything, I think that it would have been really a solid collection then. I probably would have bumped it up to even 4.5. But as it stands now, I would say about 3.5 to 4. But definitely an enjoyable collection. And yeah, I'm probably gonna be reading a lot more short story collections. At least one more short story collection before Christmas break. Because can't be shooting on Christmas. I need my break, guys. Even though I was on a break, but still, I need another break. So yeah, hopefully by the end of December, I'll be able to do like a January TBR because I want to, finish the books that I already have and said that I would do in my other TBRs videos. So I want to try finish that, and who knows, maybe I'll get some more books for Christmas and I'll be able to show them to you. We'll see. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a good day. Hope you guys are staying safe. This is the situation in the world is getting really, really, really bad. So please stay safe. And I hope you guys have a nice weekend. This has been Bitlamay at Fanged Pipsqueak Reads. Can't speak anymore. I'll see you next time. Bye.